Okay, so guys, see, so Alashu, can you hear me now properly?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what I'll do like here, as we know, like what I'll do, like I'll just like go for like the one controller. In the same applications, I'm just going. I'm not creating like the new application. Okay, so like we have to just create like the one controller class because the other files, like all the files are present there. I'll just give the name as employee rest controller, and we'll just finish it. Okay, so guys, everyone has know about like the Rust APIs again, like why it is needed, like why we are creating the APIs basically. So as I said, like in the next project, like we have to be like the main project, like we have to be main focus, or like the we will target on like our APIs only. The APIs are Angular. So we are making this APIs for like what kind of things basically. So in that cases, like we can just configure any UI or like any things we can configure over there. Correct. If you're going with the, like the some backend level applications like the Thymeleaf only. So Thymeleaf is like the one of the solutions where we have to go for the UI work. But when we create like the APIs, so like that API we can bind with like with any other like the different technologies for like the UI work. Yes or no? So that is like the best advantages or like the best practice to like to go with that one. So as we know, like as a developers, like why they are preferring that one, because the APIs applications we can work on like the some different platforms. Like it is not will be valid for like only the single platforms, right? So it will be like not only for like the single platform, but like we can work on different platforms. Like the same database we can connect with the different devices, different platforms, like the mobile device, like the desktop device or the website applications. The single database we can have like the connections between the different platforms by using the APIs only. But again, like we know, like there is one of the drawback of by using the only the APIs, because when we are creating the API, so it's going inside the monolithic one only. So what we know about like the monolithic, so monolithic is basically it's just creating like the single services, means everything it should be get like the coupled. Okay, it's getting strongly coupled means what, every each and every services it should be like it dependence on each others only. Okay, but like what you want as we developer, what we are looking basically, so it should be like decoupling, like we want the decoupling, like that is not the strongly it is it should be coupled over there. So what we are looking basically here, like that data or like the services should be independent on each others. So when it will make it like the independence work, so like it will be not affect to any other different services if any issues happen with that services. Then correct, the thing is what like if sometime like the whenever like the some issue is going in your application, that is the time life application. So if any file is giving like the issues now, so like it will just affect to your whole applications, right? So that is like the one of the drawback. But like what you want, like the we have to just make it like the some different services which will be like the independence on each others, so it will not affect to like any other different services then. Okay, so like what is the best solutions like to go or like to prefer it, that is the microservices. Okay, so but before going for like the microservices, like we must have like the more knowledge in like the APIs only, because without having like any APIs we cannot go with the microservices directly. Correct. So like the API is like the which of the like it is like the one of the best platform to like to go with that. Even the technologies, like we can follow like the different. As I said, ki like there is one monolithic APIs. Monolithic APIs means what? It just like preferred, like it just like followed only the single language or single technology. But what we want as a developers, like we if some in features only, if there is some like requirement for the some different languages, so how we can just migrate it now on different languages. So we want like the what, that is the microservices. So microservices have a bond, they can connect with the different languages only there. Correct. But where the monolithic, it will just prefer only the single language only. So that is a drawback from the monolithic APIs. And one of the advantages we can say like from the microservices, where are all the services like the independent on each other, even technologies also like the different. It's none of the part of your only the backend work, but also the microservices, it is going to connect with your UI works also. Correct, because like for the UI, the HTML says that this is not like the UI. The one of the part like the Angular we are using, sometime in Angular only, like we are calling Talvin, Okay, for like your UI work, like many tools, like many plugins are there like to connect with that things. Correct. So like need to learn about that, like the EPS and the microservices. So once we'll done this, like the EPS now, like we'll started with like the microservices, so you will get the ideas about it, so like how it is getting connected. Clear? So for the EPS, see this is one like my EPA wala file. This is not like which is getting connected to like normal controller. Normal controller means what, like which is the handling the all the annotations for your the some family for like the some UI kind of work which are you are handling inside your projects. But when you are connecting your project controller with your the REST, so REST means what, like it just basically creating like the REST API. So guys, we know like the REST stands for like what? REST, it is representational. See, REST is what? Representational state transfer. Correct. So we have to be like transfer our states within the application. But how we are transferring the states? So for that, like we have to just follow the like the REST principle. So the REST API, like they have provided like the REST principle. So you know like about the like the REST principle. So in a REST principle, like they have provided like the some different methods that you know, like the that is get mapping, post mapping, put mapping, delete mapping, correct, patch mapping, the many different like the mappings they have provided over there. Okay, but these are nothing but these are, it is also called as verbs, the verbs which is provided by like the REST only. Okay, so only REST like they are providing only, in REST API it is integrating that things. The REST what we have to say, that is the one REST platform. The REST controller means what, it is just using their services, but actually the REST principle which is providing these methods, that is get, post, put, delete, patch, and more like other different kind of method like they have provided over there. Correct. So that is called like the REST principle. So the REST API, they are preferring or like they are following the REST principle to work with the web services. So guys, anyone can just tell me like what are the web services? What are the web services and what is the websites? What is the difference between them? What are the web services? Yes, guys, anyone? What are the web services?
So the services they are provided to websites.
Okay, like
Like payment gateways.
so yeah, the payment gateway it's also kind of like the your web service, but it is like the one third party application, no? The third party APIs. Like we are taking the help of Google Auth also. This is also like the one third party APIs only. But here we are not taking like the help of the third party APIs. Here we are trying to creating our own APIs only, and that we have to like configure there in our application. Correct. So like the web services means what, like how the APIs are getting like the configured over there, and that APIs we are connecting to our websites. Correct, because the websites are not like the kind of only the websites means like we are now launching the online websites only, but the some clients they just want like the same APIs on like the mobile application. Correct, in a mobile applications only in a Play Store, like they are launching the application and the same database it should be happen over there and the same UI they want there. So the same thing like we can just follow for the like mobile applications also, but the thing is what, web service. So whichever the services now we are going to create it, this service like we have to use for the web, for the website applications or like the some other for other way like where it is required now. Correct. So like the thing is what, see like now this is a controller, like once you make it like the @ controller annotation, so it will not give like the REST services there. Correct. See, like if I import the controller, let's say, so what it will do, like it will not give the like stereotype about your the REST, that is like we want the REST principle here. Without following like the REST principle, we cannot send like any services over there. Correct. We have to send this functionality for testing on like the Postman or like on other different tools. The mainly different tools are like the presents over like which are provided by like third party applications, but how to test it and how it will get it, that like the things. So when I'm trying to set like the controller annotation, so controller will not give the REST, that is REST principle. So to access like all of the REST principle, we have to be go for this one, that is REST controller, you can see there. Correct. So it is getting from like you can see the wave.bind.annotation. correct. So like it is basically kind of like for your web services where you are sending some functionality to your like the third party applications, or like the some kind of like the applications where you can send some like the backend level work or like some backend level testing works only. So here you can just notate what the things like they have provided there in a REST. It convenience annotation, that is itself annotated with the controller and response body. Correct, means both the things like they have invoked inside the single annotations only in a REST controller. The previously like we know like when we are going with the like the @ control, so that time like we were providing the response body there. Yes or no? But here you can see like the many things like they have invoked inside the single things only. Correct. So no need to map that one things, but here they have like the many things of the access over there. Correct. So like what we'll do, like we will just import this now. Instead of importing like the controller, we will import the REST, because I want the like the REST services, not the controller wala services. So by the way, is like if you want like the some controller kind of services, that also we can access it, because controller wala access it's already given there inside it. Only the extra things which is provided by the REST only. The REST principle we can use now here. Okay. The as we discussed in a previous applications, also in the previous applications we were sending our data from controller to time leaf, but now there is no time leaf. We are not going to use like the any time leaf kind of things over there. It's not needed. Correct. So we have to send this direct functionality to for the testing tools only. The testing tools are like the different ways, like the one of the Swagger is also there. The Swagger is it is like the one user friendly platform is there where you can test your APIs. The same, but in a Java developers, like what they prefer, like they were just like preferred like the Postman tools, which is one very old tools is there. But we can just test our like all the function or like the all the like the APIs the smoothly basically. It's not taking like any kind of like delay or like other things. It is old platform, but it is too good for testing these APIs, the Postman. Okay, but for the like the .NET, they were mostly preferring like the Swagger tools over there. But here like the Postman, it is like the one kind of tools, because the Swagger also like we can integrate here also like for the user friendly, but the Postman it is like the third party application. We'll see like about like the Swagger wala parts, how the Swagger tools like will get it there. Okay, so first of all, for writing any services, so like for writing any APIs, what things we should be like keep it over there. See, so the one of the best practice to just provide the here, that is we have to provide like the request mapping there. So why we are writing like the request mapping here? See, it is not needed. You can directly go for like the get mapping, post mapping, like that HTTP verb like you can follow over there. But still I am just going here the request mapping. So guys, why it is needed? Anyone can just tell me this? Why we are doing this request mapping here? Yes, is this needed here? Yes. Why we are writing this request mapping?
Oh, base URL.
Base URL, correct. See, basically this the base URL, it is required like when you are going to consume this APIs na anywhere, in that kind of way like it's very required. Otherwise this thing is not needed. You can create it like you are the own routes na there. But I can see like while consuming time, every time like you have to give it like the some different URLs na. So that we have to like just reduce that things, and what we have to do like just provide the one base URL that with the help of that base URL we can access everything over there then. Correct. Only here what things like we have to give the like the name. Again, see, this is not the fixed one. What names like we have to give it. But actually whenever like we are writing the name for like the request mapping, we are giving according to the clients only. What the client they are like expected over there. Correct. So the mostly the API wala form is what the how the convention is going for like the API works. So they are just giving the name as the /API, and after that like we have to just give like the one API's name where you are holding the all of the APIs. Let's say this APIs I'm making for like what for the for where for the employees na. So let's say it's for like the employees or APIs. So I have just like make it like the one route there, the base route. Ki whenever the someone they will try to consume it, like whenever like the someone they will try to test it this API, so they need to like access first upon this base URL, the base route, and with the help of this like they can access everything there. So after that like I'll just come to my points, like now the one EPS, just now we'll try to fetch it, like see, like we have like some data is there in a employee manager wala table. So what I'll do, like I'll just create one web service, like one EPS, where I just need to fetch like the employee wala data with the managers. So what I'll do, like the same method here, like we have to write, but instead of returning like the one string message, that also you can return it, but like here I don't require it. So instead of return like any string messages, like I'm just going to return the employees. But again, the for the employees, like I'm not going to like return only the single employees here, so I want like the more than one employees. So how do I return like the list of employees over this? Like again, you know, like for the return type, like what we have to write there. So we'll pass the list of employees. Here I'll pass the model name, and we will just give the name of the methods, that is fetch employees. Okay, and what we have to do, like we have to just like return the data. So here I'll pass the return. Okay, and what I'm doing, like I'm just going to create like the repo wala object there. You can also like create like the some service wala part, but here what I'm doing, like I'm just like writing these things here. Otherwise we'll come to, I think we have the repo is already there, na? Yes. So here you can perform it. See, repo is already there. I'll just come into the service. Say, I think one service is also there, find all employees, and the implementations parts. This one, na? So guys, what I'm doing here now, like I'm just creating one more service. Let's say I'm just giving the name as employee rest service. Okay, so guys, you have to just follow like the same patterns only, but I'm just like for testing purpose, I'm just making only the single service, like I'm not making the different implementation class. Okay, so I'm just going with the like with the single class only without making any interface. So I'll just access everything from your repo only. So here we'll make it like this service class by passing the annotation, and after that, like we have to be inject that like the repo wala object there. So for the injecting like repo object, like you can use like the constructor injections, field injections, or like the setter injection, anything you can use there. Okay, so like what I'll do, I'll just create like the one method which will return the list of employee. Okay, so this is my method name. Let's import it this list. And here like we have to inject like the repo wala interface. Okay, so we will just like shortcut now use the like the field injector only. So we'll pass employee repo, and here like we have to pass auto add. Okay, so here like what you have to like return now, here we'll pass repo dot find all. Okay, and now this method need to call inside our rest controller class, na, there. So I'll come into this now, the rest controller. Here I'll inject the service employee rest service, and we'll pass the field injector. Okay, we will access the method serve dot find all employees. So see, like now it will fetch like all of the employees we'll save this and we'll have to like run the application now. Yes, so application is started now here. Okay, so let me take like the one URL, that localhost wala. Okay, we'll just copy this and we have to just go for the postman.
Excuse me, boss. You have a text message.
So see guys, everyone has know about like how to use this postman now. Okay, so here like I'll just click on for the like the new service or like for the new request. You can just go with this plus sign here.
Excuse me, boss. You have a text message.
Okay, so here like I am going to paste my URL, which like URL I took it, which URL I now render over there. So after that now it is asking for like the request, the base URL, like what base URL like we pass after this. So you can see like in a control like I have set one route there in a request mapping, that is the EPS/EMPS. So guys, all of you, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So see this one I'm taking, and here you can see guys in the left side like these are like the HTTP verbs, and in the controller side we are using like the REST principle, that the gate mapping and that one. See guys, like when we are sending this gate wala verb, okay, and when we are sending the request now, so like what it will check there, after sending the request it will just come into this application now here, and it will check what the basically what request you are checking with the REST principle. But here now you can see like I have not sending any like the REST principle over there. I am not sending any HTTP verb from these sites. So how it will hit that like verb, that gate verb like here now in a controller. So for that we have to make it like the get mapping. So see guys, now get mapping, it's not only the kind of like your routes, this is also called as now the HTTP verb, because now this the get mapping, this is getting called from your now postman, correct? It is now checking your the HTTP verb which is present inside like the REST that in a REST principle. So when I'll see like when I'll send like the request from like the postman sites, so the postman it will send like the request to here like whether the get mapping is present. If you pass like the some name inside this, so again it will look for like some name like which name is present inside it. But if I not pass like anything name, so it will just go to check whether which like the service which is end with the like the slash only, no, it's empty only, nothing we had pass only. We'll just save this, and now after that like I'll send the request. So guys, it's possible ki like I have passed like the base URL like I have passed here, and after that like the HTTP verb like I'm sending the post, will it work? No, it should be not work, because like when you are
No.
because when you are sending the post wala request, so here it will come into the control and it will check for like the post wala request, but the post wala request nothing is present there. Understood? So like the whichever the request like we have sent it now, accordingly like only it will check the request and then only it will give the response over there. Correct? So like we'll select this gate wala, and now we will send the request. So you can see guys, as I show you like on Saturday also like this same thing like the object wala issue was happening over there. So need to avoid these things. So like the most and best practice like we have to go for like the DTOs over there. as I said, like the alternate solution, like they have provided like the some manage the JSON manager reference. So that is also like the handling over there. Key you can handle this like the this depth services, the recursion, like it can handle it. But the thing is what, it will not handle like the child class object there. Only whichever the objects are present inside the child, now that only it will handle. But till from parent to child, it will give it like the everything. See, like if suppose if I pass like the annotation here, so this is my employee na here, employee model. So guys, first of all here just tell me like from both of the model, like which one is my parent model? Yes, which one is my parent model, employee or manager? Yes guys, I am asking something.
Manager, sir.
Is manager is the parent? So our mapping is going from employees to managers.
Sir, we are using manager ID employee, na?
So our mapping is going from employees to
So
managers.
employee is dependent on manager, na? Sir?
Basically, yes. So our mapping is going from employees to managers, na? So like basically our reference, the manager wala reference, it's coming inside your employees, na here. So what we have to do, like here, like we have to make it like the one data annotation here now. I'll just make it because our mapping we are reading from employees to manager, na? So like first of all I'll come into the employees here. Here see like you can see like the reference over there, and here I'll just like pass this one, that is, you can see like there are like the two annotation, that is JSON manager reference and JSON back reference. If I pass the manager reference, means we are passing the mapping like the employees to manager, and when you will read it from like the managers to employees, so like it will get it like the back reference na basically. So I'll come into like the manager, and here what annotation like we have to add it there then, because I don't want any like the some child class objects also, like I'll just pass the reverse mapping there. So again like we'll pass the JSON back reference, we'll save it. Once it is saved, I'll again come to the like the postman, and I'll send to like this request. So guys, can you see there, like is there any changes after passing the request in a previous one and this one? Is there any differences there? Yes or no? See now it's going like
Yes.
whenever we are mapping the employees to the manager, so it's going into the manager. But after that in a like the manager, it's not checking for other object, because we pass the that JSON back reference. So again it's just like avoiding the recursion from this sides. And the when the employee is going inside the managers, like the JSON manager reference is going na, so again it's avoiding like the recursion over there. Correct. So like your recursion is getting breakdown after the managers, because manager have like the JSON back reference wala like the annotations over there. So it's just like break down your structure of your object there only. But see, still it's creating the object. I don't want this object, because in a consuming side it will make a problem for us. I don't want this. I want these details only. These details I can access through like the manager reference directly. But I don't want this object. Within a employee itself, like I wanted to access everything. So for that, like what we have to do, like we have to just go for the DTO. So DTO will handle the clearly and clean approach over there, because here the manager wala thing was not needed to me. Only I was just like needed this two thing, even two, not two things. Just I was just like needed with the, like the M name only. So I can directly fetch it over there only, not needed these things. Why again it is creating like the object inside your employees, which is not needed. Correct. Only it just like break down your the depth wala life cycle, depth wala cycle, which due to like which we have passed like the annotations. Like what I'll do, like I'll just comment it again. I don't want this. Even employee wala, I'm just taking the help of the DTO. We'll see how the DTO is helping us here. See, again when we'll send the request, the same reference will happen because still like there is no any DTO, so the same issue will going on. So see guys, now how to work with the DTOs. So here I want like the DTOs, like I'll just come into the entity. You can go inside like the entity, or like you can create like the one more package there. Okay, just click on this only, new package. Okay, and inside like we are going to pass the DTO. See the DTO wala package like I have added now here, and in this I'll just add one DTO here, the class. I'll give the like the name as employee DTO there. We'll finish it. Okay, so in an employee DTO, like what, see, as we know, on Saturday also like I was giving some like the basic briefing about the like the DTO, like how the DTO will go. So basically DTO is nothing but like it's just taking like the specific details like which is we required only. So no need to take like the some unnecessary things. Unnecessary things means what, like the which the objects are present over there which are not required now, or like which is not needed. So I just like wanted to like ignore that things. So what I want here, I just want only the basic details, the things which are like present inside like the employee managers over there. Okay, so like what I'll do here, then I'll just go with this the model, and I'll copy this thing only. See, I'm just taking this thing, I'm not taking any references, and from the manager itself like I'm taking the, if you want the ID and name both, so you can take it like the both, otherwise you can take it like only the name, which is also fine. Like if suppose if I want only the name, I don't want the manager ID, so I can just take it this only. It's your choice only, it's your choice what things you required, as per that only like you can go there. So see, like now it is form. After that, like what you have to do, like we can just like go with the constructor implementation. So for that, like we'll just generate the constructor, which is one the parameters, and also just pass one default constructor if sometime like if it is required somewhere, so then we can make a use then. Right now it is not used one, and also like I'm generating the get a setup for it. See guys, the constructor like I have passed and getter status I have passed. Like if you want them to string also you can take it for the testing works. After this, how to take like the help of this like the DTO now here inside the REST controller. So here I'll come now and inside this method only. See, like I'm not writing any implementation work here, so like I'll just go inside the service only. The service will handle this like the rest of the work, and the controller like will be the clean only here. Okay, so guys, for fetching work, like I'm just taking the help of the stream APIs, where we know like we have like the map function. So in a map, like we are just fetching the like the DTO all objects, because we are collecting some like the specific things only. We don't want like all of the things, so we have to map some like the specific field only there. Okay, so here I'll come dot will pass one method there, stream dot we have to be pass one map. In a map, like I'm just going to like fetch like the data of like the employee DTO only. So what we have to do, like just create the object of it, pass the lambda expression. Okay, and we are just fetching the data of employee DTO. Just break down the structures and pass the details which you required now here. like the details is also like not fixed. Now like we are calling the constructor which is the parameter as constructor, and now you know in a parameter as constructor like how many total like parameters are present. So there in an employee DTO you can see the ID, name, email, salary and m name. We cannot like pass the extra other things over there. Okay, so it depends on your other constructors only. So see like how it is getting called there now. Yeah, so basically we'll use the object of the employee. This is e dot, and I'm calling the method of get id. So it will call you the first parameter, then I'll call e dot get e name, and you can just like the check with the DTO work, email, salary and manager name. E dot get salary, and like the last field is what, the manager name. So but manager name, like you know like the manager name which is present inside the manager class. So for accessing this manager name wala property here, this is we are getting the access through like the employees now. So like how to access it this, so here like we'll pass e dot get manager. So here like you have to check guys, like this is one like the required things. If it is not equals to null, pass the question mark. Okay, if it is not null, then it will just display dot get m name. Okay, so it will check whether the value is null or not. If it is not null, then it will display the manager name and ternary operator like I'm using. If it is not there, so like it should be just say no, the manager is not assigned it here, like that. Or else you can just pass the null. If it is nothing is present there, so like it will just go for the null value. So you can just go with like any reference over there, but like now it is just required so the check for a ternary operator is the, so string we are returning now, this is the name, it will return it over there. So is this guy's syntax is correct now here, just check it the syntax ternary. If the question mark line I am checking here, okay. So here like we're checking the condition, or else like we will first like we'll try to get the name only first, get m name. Is the more parameters are there? ID is there, ID, name, email, salary and m name. Okay, so here like will come, okay. So now next like what we'll do, after fetching this like the DTO field, will pass one function that is from the stream, that is collect, and here will pass like the fetch the data in a form of list, that here it will help us, that is collectors from a stream dot will pass the to list. Just check for the request. Okay, yes, like we are returning like the employee class now. Yeah, so we have to return like what now? It is DTO, correct? Because we are returning the DTO wala data. So here also, like as I said, like you can check with the condition if you want. Just give this. Yeah, if it is not equals to null, question mark this, or it's a no. If the data is present, then it will fetch like the name, or else like it will just show the no. Okay, so see you guys, basically this is one of my DTO which I am returning inside like the employee DTO. So when like now one more thing, so when I'll come into the REST controller here, so it will not like give like the return as the employees. Now we are returning the employee DTO. Yes, so we'll save this. So guys, all are there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what I noticed, like you are doing some work,
Yes, sir.
work, I think you are going like to some busy in other work. No one is responding. So see, in the next project, like we have to handle these things only. So next time, like don't tell me like we didn't understand, like we are new for this, because no one is responding. I don't know like what you are doing there. I already told now, like I'll give you time, so don't worry about it. I'm not taking like whole till 5 o'clock like I'm sessions, like till 3:45, like I'll just end this. Okay, so like this is like the important work is there na, that is DTO wala work. Just try to understand it. See here again, like I'm sending the same request, the gate wala request. Click on send. So now you can see, now there is no the recursion is finding there. Can you see there? It's handling the data properly in a proper manner without taking the help of like any objects or like anything. See, this is like the one best advantages of using the DTOs over there. Yes guys, you understood this work or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And see guys, anyone can just tell me, like if suppose if I wanted to pass like the one API for add the employee with their manager ID, so how will I pass without DTO?
So once again.
So like we just want this one like the fetch wala API na, basically it's just fetching the employee wala data with the manager. So if I want like the one more API for adding the employee with their manager ID, so how it will handle it like without DTO, and how to test it like in a the Postman tool then, if I'm going with like without DTO there. If suppose as per our like the normal methods, what normal method like we are creating for like adding the data over there?
Save.
The save method is there, but how we are handling it?
Sir, in JSON object we have to pass object into object. Means nested object we have to pass.
Yes, so nested object is required na, correct? So here like what we'll do, like can we just take like what return type like we have to take it here? Tell me. Yes, what return type like we take here?
Like what you are doing,
We
the
are doing
basis
the
of
add
that we
operation
can
na, the adding employees.
adding void.
Can you take it void? See, take it void, and you are just passing the method name as add employee.
Sir, we can take response entity now to send the response.
Right now I'm not taking that because I'm just waiting for the like Angular there for responding
Okay,
there
okay.
for the consuming one. Na? So here I'm just like responding only the object over there before going to the response entity. So
But
here
sir,
what
in
I
Angular, we can also need that, like the response, HTTP response we have to send, na?
hmm.
Like we can check in Angular also, like whether the data is added
Yes,
or
that
not.
is only I'm saying like when it is required in Angular like mostly in a consuming partner when we are sending like the response entity. So whenever we are responding something, so that time it is more needed. So now we are just like testing this functionalities only. So I'll show
But sir, in
that the
Postman
response is
also it is using that response, na?
yes it is using but like it is not required one, na? It's not mandatory one. That is I am saying. The mandatory one like where it is like when you are going to consume somewhere, na that time like it just checking your the status one, what the status is exact going over there. Correct. So here we are just like testing the functionality like how it is going there. We are just handling the functionalities only. Okay, so tell me this one first like for add wala, how to handle like the add wala data for the adding employee with managers. What you have to pass there? The repo is there, and
So first we have to accept the object of that employee, no?
will take like one employee object. Next, here repo dot save. That's it.
Sir, I think first we have to take out the employee manager object, and then we have to set in employee object, and then it will work. I think so.
It's needed.
Yes.
Like what I was practicing earlier.
Hmm.
If it is not needed, I don't
In
know
the
that.
save function also like the manager or object was present na there in employee. Now it will check the status what? It will check status that is employee with the manager. So like it will check for the employee wala object. Inside it will like just look for the manager wala objects. So the next statement
Okay,
it will
okay,
check right there.
okay, okay.
So like if you want so for the testing kind of like the way na like what we are doing, we are just checking like the manager ID from this na like whether the what manager ID is going there. And
Yes,
that
sir. We
based
can check
yes
that whether the ID is wrong or not.
yes and that based on that ID like we have to save this record then. That also we can do. Okay, but again like we are not going to do this practice also like we are just checking like if we are going with the only the single entity sites, so how the entities will deal with the postman there, and if I'm going with DTOs like how the DTO will handle that one things. Correct. So like entity and DTO like both they will get like the some different work na there. If you are going with the DTOs, so DTOs no need to like handle this the object there. Without object you can directly pass like the data over there. Yes or no? Yes. So see like if suppose if we are using your approach ki like we have to send like the data that employee wala data. So in employee wala data first of all tell me like how the postman will test this data. Tell me the functionality for the testing work here. How it will test? Let's say I have passed
In the JSON.
see the my request is same only base. I'll not create any request. Only just need to change this like HTTP work post. After that we have to come into the body. Here we'll select the raw and we have to select the JSON. Tell me what JSON request like will send from it for the adding one.
Employee object.
Only employee object will work. Can I pass the data of the employees over here?
Employee with manager.
See, when you send like the data na, inside this in a curly braces, so it will just send this request for like your employees only for the employees table, not for your the manager or data will not get handled. So the kind of cases is what like it will just it will just give us like the null values for the manager then. So I want the data. I'm just like passing the data of employees na, with the managers. The manager ID should be come inside it. Yes. What is the basic approach? Anyone just can you just tell me this? The basic approach to taking the data for
Basic. Nested by object source.
Hmm?
Nested object.
How? Tell me that how nested object will take. So I have just created, this is one my object, na? The main object I have created, the JSON wala form, like it is getting in a curly braces form only. This is the main object.
Object and object form.
Sir, first give the employee fields na, then we'll tell.
Let's take ename, correct? Then we'll take a email and one is salary. And then
Yes, sir. Now
You have
write
to go for
towards the right
manager.
manager.
here we will pass the like the manager wala reference.
Colon.
Yes, and the curly bracket. Yes.
Correct. So like it will form like the one more object for the manager details. Inside it, like you have to pass the
Manager ID and yeah,
hmm. Correct. So like see again, like it is just like looking for you the nested object only, na, the which nested object are present there. So we don't want this work, na. So like how to handle this, like we how to make it like this some easy work. I just wanted to give like key like this field only, na, the MID. So we'll not handle like the nested object.
So then DTO only, helper class.
Yes, so will take the help of the DTOs only. So DTO like will avoid that things, na, the objects wala like no need to pass like the object anywhere. Just guys like try to make it, na, your the code is very clean. So whenever like go to like to that is consuming wala work, na, for any languages, not for like your Angular only. So that will be like very easily you can consume it like anywhere. If the objects are many forms now from your API side, so it will be very complicated then for handling this thing in a consuming work. Because see most of the guys, na, they were just like stuck in like in that work only in a consuming. API creation, it is not like the difficult work, but when you are going to like consume it like in any languages, so like that time they were getting stuck. They were not able to handle like that objects, because object to object inside object, how to handle that in a depth one. Correct. So like that will be making like the very complex one. So that's why just take a help of like the one DTO, which will make it like the one simple and clean approach. Okay, and easily you can consume it like in any language, not even like the Angular. Even you can like use the React or like the other some different languages also to consume it, which is one very easy then for the implementation work. Is understood or not? So like I have not tried to other functionality now only. I'm just like telling you like what the advantages like will get it from that side. If the DTO is present there, then how the DTO will take a help over there. As I said here also, if I just remove this thing, in a fetch wala operations also, the DTO is helping us for fetching like the all of the data, okay, without taking like any like the child or like in-depth objects over there. But the same thing, like if suppose whenever like we are fetching like the employees data with their details, like this is one the details. Now only the 4 columns are present in the employees. This is not part of like the employee, that is the get manager wala. But the main part like this details is belong from your the employees. So how do I handle like these things? Basically, if suppose the more fields are present over there is more than 5, more than 10, more than 15, more than hundreds. So for handling that things, like we have to go for the AutoMapper. As we know, like we were just like going to discuss about like the AutoMappers. Like AutoMappers, it's just mapping your the DTO with your objects, DTO with your entities, or entity to the DTOs. So while the fetching time, we are just passing the data from DTO to entity or entity to DTO. What we have to do? If suppose if I am fetching some data here, so what we have to map there? We will map from like the DTO to entity or entity to DTO. Yes.
Sir, repeat the question.
See, while the fetching time, like I'm just asking here, now while the fetching time, now here we are using only the DTO, no model. But let's say like I'm just combining both the things, that is there is one entity also, that is this employee is the entity and employee DTO is a class, the simple class only. So when we are like going to merge both of the things, that is when we are planning to pass the AutoMapper inside this, So how the automapper will map these things from DTO to entity or to entity to DTO? Now how it will map?
I think DTO to entity.
Sure, it's DTO to
Sir, can
I
you
entity.
think
repeat the question? Yeah, your voice is breaking.
Mm-hmm. See what I'm asking. See, like here while fetching time, like I'm just using the DTOs only, na. So that's
Your
why it
so
will.
your screen. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, is my screen is visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So my question is what, like, see here for fetching the details, I'm just taking the help of the DTO only, na here. But the one drawback is what of the DTO, okay, like when we are getting like the 100 or 1000 of field in an employee, so like that will be very complex na to handle it, to like write that each and every field over there.
Yes, sir.
So here like what I'm going to do, like I'm just taking the help of the automapper. So what automapper is saying, like you have to be map the data between DTO and entity, between DTO and entity. So for fetching wala work, how the automapper will map the data? It will just do the mapping from employee, that DTO to entity, or second way, that is entity to DTO. How it will map it the data for the fetching one? Because for the automapper it's want both. It will just check the data from employee to employee DTO, and then only it will just after the comparison, like it will just fetch the data accordingly. Yes, got the questions or not?
Sir, I think the employee to DTO.
Employee to
DTO.
why?
Sir, because we are passing reference of employee to the DTO. So,
Yes, so like we have to map like the from employee to DTO only, because the employee will check like the objects, and after that like we are going to like award that like the object references na into the
Excuse me,
DTO.
boss. You have a text
So
message.
DTO will take like the some specific field from that like the employee model only, and then only it will fetch it na. So like the automapper it's taking the help of the both only, and here we are taking the help of only the DTO. Just need to map it na. So like the employee model, that automapper, it will just tell to the DTO, okay, like don't pass the details of that like the model, because I am just mapping that model also here one side. Correct, here there is no helpers, only the DTO is like the one of the helper class only, correct, which is taking the help itself only. But when the automapper will come, so like automapper is telling like no need to take like help of this, like why you are writing this field again and again this every times. So no need to write it, it's like I'll just map this like the model in one side. So no need to pass this field over there. You just need to pass like some other field only, which is one required thing. So like 1 to 2 fields are which is required over there. Otherwise the one side model like I'll handle it. Clear? So like the automapper, it's very like the simple and easy work over there for our APIs, which is handling many things. So here also like when I'll take like the DTO wala help na, so these things like no need to pass. Only this one is needed over there, because this is one like fetching from the manager, but like from the employees wala data, when I'm mapping from employees to managers, so like this data no need to fetch over there. The automapper will handle it itself. Yes guys, understood or not what I'm saying?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yes.
So any confusion here? So if your project is on, so like try to start this implementation work